Hello and welcome back to Senior Haven Companion. Today we'll be talking about the new Section 8 voucher that will be opening up on June 3rd, 2024. That's Monday, June 3rd. It will open at 12 a.m. Okay, so what you'll learn in this video: what is the housing choice voucher program, how do I apply, how do I request a paper application if I am not able to do it online, what does Section 8 priority code mean, what the HCV list preference is, and if you're doing the online application, all that you will need in terms of documentation. You will learn all that, the income requirements, and in general the process. Once you apply, what happens after, and so forth. So stay tuned. So to apply for the housing voucher program, the New York City Housing Authority, NYCHA, is the one that administers the housing choice voucher, for short HCV program, also known as Section 8. So this would provide rental subsidies for eligible low-income families, right? So to apply, as I mentioned in the beginning, you would do so online, or you can request an application. So the application will open up on Monday, June 3rd, 2024 at 12 a.m. through Sunday, June 9th, 2024 at 11:59 p.m. So right before 12. So, they do this so that people will have open opportunity to be placed on the list regardless of when their applications were received. The online application may be accessed via computer. It could be done on a smartphone, tablet, if you have internet service. If you do not have access, you could do this at your local library or any cafe that offers, internet service. Okay, so for those who are not able to apply online, you may request an application, a paper physical application, even though the fastest way to do it is online. So some people might not have the luxury or the capability of doing it for online based on disability reasons or other many reasons why it can't be done. Paper applications can be made available as a reasonable accommodation for these individuals. So you can request a reasonable accommodation from Monday, June 3rd through Friday, June 7th, 2024, from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. by calling 718-218-1525 to have an application mailed to you. So after you complete this application, you will mail the application to a certain location. They have Brooklyn Customer Contact Center, which is on Atlantic Avenue, and they have Bronx Customer Contact Center. These, all this information, I could place them in the description box for you. So one thing to note, if you're mailing by paper, so by the paper application must be postmarked by Friday, June 28, 2024, and sent only by U.S. mail. It can only be sent through the U.S. mail system. So what does the NYS priority code mean? NYCHA has priority system that mark each applicant based on predetermined preferences, based on information given. What are the HCV preferences? So as I mentioned, there may be people with mobility impaired and residing in an inaccessible housing, elderly persons 62 of age, and persons with disability. So those persons get like special priority, and all other applicants. So what are HCV income limits? So it's based on your family's annual gross income and does not exceed the following limits. So I'll show you all that I spoke about. This is to go back to where you can mail your paper application. So that's a Brooklyn Customer Contact Center, and this is the Bronx Customer Contact Center, right? And here is the number. All right. And now for the income limits. For the income limits for family size of 1, the income limit would be less than or no more than $54,350. And for example, for two persons living together, $62,150, right? So that's just an example as to the income limits. I'll try to freeze the screen where you could also see this, but I will link this document in the description box as well as other things. Just some frequently asked questions. Are current NYCHA public housing residents or applicants eligible to apply? Yes. The wait list is open to all members of the public. Also, question might be asked, do I have to be a New York City resident? Let's say you just move here and you found yourself in this situation and you need housing and you're eligible. Otherwise, no, you do not have to be a New York City resident to apply. The HCV program does not have a residency requirement. Okay, how do I update? So for some reason, if you applied and there have been changes after you applied June 3rd, there's information here where you can go about updating your information like email, mailing address, if that has changed, on the NYCHA self-service portal, I will also put this in the description box where you can register and update your information there. You need to update your name, social security number, or things like date of birth. You would call the NYCHA HCV application hotline. The number is 718-218-1525. And again, all of this will be placed at your fingertips where you could have this available to you. So let's get into how long it will take to complete the application online. So the application is supposed to, the process is supposed to take, according to them, on average 20 minutes to complete, because it's going to ask basic demographic information and date of birth, social, and all those things. So information that is required to complete the application. So for household members, for all household members, so if you're the head and there are other people living with you, you'll need first name or middle initial, last name if they have a middle initial, their date of birth, their social security number, or confirmation one was never issued. Demographic information, as I mentioned, sex, race, ethnicity, disability status if there's anyone who is disabled. Now for head of household information, they'll need also your first, last name, middle initial if you have date of birth, social security, disability status if you're disabled, contact information, mailing address, email, telephone number, and language preference, things of that sort. So you'll also have to provide your family size and the total gross income of all family members. Now, gross income is the money you earn before they take the taxes out. So that's what you'll need to provide for everyone who is living in the household. If you're the only one living there and you're the head of household, even easier. Okay? If there's anyone for the head of household, anyone have any pregnancy status for any household members, they'll have to include their due date, because if someone is pregnant, that means there's gonna be an additional little one in the household as well, so they want to factor in that individual. So they're gonna check things like criminal background check, if the person has a sex offender status, anyone in the household, they're going to be doing background checks. They're gonna look at things like eviction history and the dates if applicable, and of course your reason for applying for the HCV program. You're gonna have to provide an emergency contact, your email address, mailing address, telephone number, and your relationship to them. You may ask, do I need to submit documentations of these things? No, you do not need to submit any of these for the application itself. Documentation is not requested, right? Or required, I should say. If you're selected to be placed on the waiting list, then they'll ask for proof of these documentation where you'll have to submit them. And that's when you are maybe contacted for an eligibility interview. Who can I contact for assistance? For those who have like hearing disability or speaking disability, NYCHA offers services for those who are disabled from their disability unit, the number is 212-306-4652. Another number I have is 212-306-4845. Okay, and if you have general questions, there is a hotline for the application, which is 718-218-1525. Okay, so you might also ask, how do you know you're placed on the waiting list? So after you have applied on the application period, which is June 3rd to June 9th, I believe. June 3rd to June 9th. Yeah. So after that, they'll consider, so the limit is they'll take 2,000 applications, right? Out of, they will select 2,000 applications. Those will be on a wait list and expected to be established by August 1st, 2024. Once the wait list is established, applicants will be notified and can check the status of their application via the self-service portal that you initially signed up for on NYCHA, right? They will begin to call applicants or count them off the wait list then. So not until August 1st, 2024 will you hear anything, right? So nothing will be available before August 1st, 2024. So you could look out for that then. Is everyone eligible for HCV or Section 8 program? No. Section 8 is intended for low-income families that fits the criteria that I mentioned before. Head of household is 18 years of age or older, or declared an emancipated minor. At least one of the family member is a U.S. citizen or non-citizen with eligible immigration status. The household gross income, that's before tax, is 50% or below the area median income, which I showed you previously, right? So I also want to make note that once the application period closes, NYCHA will randomly place 200,000 applicants on a wait list. Submitting an application does not guarantee the applicant will be placed on this wait list for various reasons. If application is selected for placement on the wait list and you are selected from the wait list, NYCHA will basically begin the process where you will be asked to bring in the necessary or appropriate documents. Then they'll probably do an interview and see where you stand and, take into consideration your income, assets, expense documentation, and all those things. So they will conduct a criminal background check, as I said, for all family members 16 years of age or older. Then, after that, if you meet the criteria, you will be issued a Section 8 or HCV voucher and get briefed on how the program works, how Section 8 works. Once that voucher is done, once there's an availability, you will search on where or get someone to help you to see which landlord or housing takes Section 8. So I hope this is helpful and you could follow. I will provide all this information in the description box. Thanks so much for watching. See you in the next video. Bye bye.